Andrew Carnegie, legendary steel tycoon and philanthropist. Seven success facts to fuel your success. Number 1. Andrew Carnegie was born in Dunfermline in Scotland in 1835. He was the eldest of 2 sons. As a child, Andrew enjoyed keeping pet pigeons and rabbits. He also had a knack for business at a young age. He enlisted the help of his friends to gather dandelions and clovers for his rabbits to eat, and in exchange, he promised to pay his friends by naming the rabbits after them. Number 2. Andrew's father, William, was a weaver, but with the introduction of steam-powered weaving machines, he was put out of work. William struggled to provide for the family, and they lived in poverty, which left a lasting impact on Andrew. Ultimately, Andrew's father was forced to sell his prized weaving loom to help pay for the family's passage to America. Andrew's family moved to Allegheny City, Pennsylvania, where his father took over his uncle's weaving shop, but still struggled to make a successful living. Andrew wanted to help. He determined that if he could earn $300 a year, he would be able to keep his family self-sufficient, so he went to work. Number 3. His first job was as a bobbin boy, working in a textile mill, making $1.20 a week. But he hated the job. He had trouble running the steam engine for the boiler at the right level. He had to make sure there was enough power, but if he let too much power through, then the boiler might explode. Later, he suffered severe nausea as he was tasked with soaking the bobbins in foul-smelling oil. But he kept his distress to himself and didn't share his struggles with his parents, knowing that they had their own problems. Instead, he asked himself what his heroes like Robert the Bruce or a Scotsman ought to do, coming to the conclusion that they wouldn't have given up, so he didn't quit either. Thankfully, a friend of his uncle was the manager at a telegraph office, and he was looking for a boy to work as a messenger. Andrew enthusiastically took the position. He was good at his job, and he was promoted to telegraph operator. As a messenger, Andrew was able to take advantage of the free library offered to the working boys by Colonel James Anderson. Because of that rare experience, Andrew decided, should he ever be wealthy, he would make similar opportunities available to other poor workers. In 1859, Carnegie became superintendent of the Pennsylvania Railroad. In his autobiography, Andrew recounts that during the Civil War as superintendent, part of his duties included running the telegraph department, where President Lincoln would come into the office and sit, waiting for telegrams and news. Railroads were vital for moving soldiers during the Civil War, and on multiple occasions, Andrew's role also gave him the opportunity to meet General Grant as he stopped in Pittsburgh. Andrew also considered Mark Twain a dear friend, visiting him when he was ill and offering comfort after the death of Mark's wife. Number 4. During his time with the railroad, Andrew invested in many other opportunities, including oil, iron, and steel. Seeing that steel was likely to outpace iron, he focused his attention on manufacturing steel, eventually forming the Carnegie Steel Company. Carnegie's relentless actions to drive down costs and undersell his competitors made his steel mills the most advanced in the world. Through Carnegie Steel, suddenly building bridges and skyscrapers became affordable. His company eventually became the largest steel manufacturing company in the world. In 1901, J.P. Morgan purchased Carnegie Steel for $480 million, roughly $16.9 billion in 2023 dollars. The purchase made Carnegie the richest man in the world, and in an astonishing move, he decided to give it all away in his lifetime. Inspired by Colonel James Anderson, Carnegie focused on founding libraries. Carnegie's libraries were public and free, a drastic and major change from the tradition of the time that libraries were for only the wealthy and elite. Carnegie has been called the patron saint of libraries, contributing over $55 million in early 1900s to fund a total of 2,509 libraries. The Washington, D.C. Carnegie Library opened in 1903 thanks to funding from Andrew Carnegie. Significant for the time, women and children, as well as all races, were welcome. During the Great Depression, the D.C. Library was referred to as the intellectual breadline. Number 5. Carnegie deeply held the belief that knowledge, through access to books and the desire to learn, was the secret to success, and that with that access, anyone could be as successful as he had been. Carnegie used his fortune to fund universities and organizations focused on learning, including Carnegie Mellon University, the Carnegie Institute of Technology, the Carnegie Institution of Science in Washington, D.C., and numerous others. In 1910, Carnegie gave $10 million for the founding of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. In 1911, Carnegie dedicated his remaining fortune of $135 million to the founding of the Carnegie Corporation of New York. For example, Sesame Street, the well-known children's educational program, got its start through the Carnegie Corporation. In 1966, the Carnegie Corporation funded research on educating children through television. A beneficiary of this funding was the Sesame Workshop, the producer of Sesame Street. Number 6. The Carnegie Corporation estimates that at his peak, Andrew Carnegie had a net worth of approximately $309 billion in today's dollars. In comparison, the Forbes 2023 list of the 25 richest people in the world lists Elon Musk number 2 with a net worth of $180 billion, and Warren Buffett number 5 with a net worth of $106 billion. Number 7. Carnegie's endowments continue to champion his vision of philanthropy. The Carnegie Hero Fund honors recipients with the Carnegie Medal and is North America's highest honor for civilian heroism. The Carnegie Medal of Philanthropy recognizes outstanding philanthropists. Paul Allen, Jim Simons, and Dolly Parton have all been past recipients of the award. In Carnegie's book, The Gospel of Wealth, he said, "The man who dies thus rich dies disgraced." Carnegie's example of extravagant giving has inspired many successful individuals to follow his example of philanthropy. If you made it this far, hit the like button to let us know you want more content like this. Like and share with the ambitious in your life, and check out the SDH Legend Library in the description below. SuccessfulDailyHabits.com. Learn from legends. Be legendary.